The dry season had settled over the savanna's edge, with sunlight beating down across pale grasses and scattered shrubs. In normal years the meadow shimmered with shifting color as wind rippled the vegetation and herds passed through, bright gold 1 hour, muted tan the next, deep red at sunset. But today the meadow looked wrong. It didn't shimmer. It didn't shift. It didn't move at all. Kivu, an adult male chameleon with thick scales mottled in forest green, climbed to the highest branch of an acacia sapling. He blinked his turreted eyes independently, one scanning the tree line behind him, the other rotating toward the meadow. His color should have shifted now. Bright sun equals pale green. Heat equals brownish tan. Stillness equals darker patterns for camouflage. But nothing happened. His skin sensors processed the stimulus, but the chromatophores didn't respond. His colors stayed rigid, frozen in old patterns. Kivu flexed his throat, puzzled. Below him, the meadow's tall grasses did not dance. No zebra grazed there. No antelopes crossed the open field. Even insects avoided the center. Dr. Asha Ambata, a savanna ecologist conducting an annual vegetation survey, crouched beside her colleague, Jonas Reeve, holding a spectrometer. Asha, Jonas whispered, the meadow albedo readings are anomalous. How anomalous? Invariable, Jonas said. Completely static reflectance across every sample point. Asha frowned. But sunlight changes second to second. Exactly. But the meadow's reflection doesn't. It's like the whole area is locked. Kivu shifted uneasily. His color sensors were confused, every wavelength bouncing off that field was identical, unchanging. A uniform signal. The world should have been a mosaic of shifting light. But the meadow was a single, frozen color. It wasn't natural. It wasn't normal. And Kivu's skin, evolution's masterpiece of adaptation, refused to shift in the presence of something that did not change. By early afternoon the heat intensified. Mirage waves usually shimmered along the meadow as air density changed with rising temperature. But Kivu saw no distortion. No shimmer. No heat haze. The air itself behaved like a rigid sheet. He crawled onto a sun-bleached branch and flattened his body to observe. His pupils narrowed, scanning for movement. Not a ripple. Not a flicker. Not a shadow passing overhead. Predators avoided the meadow too, no jackals, no hyenas, not even vultures soaring above. It was wrong territory now. Asha stood with her notebook, shading her eyes. Jonas. Nothing is giving off thermal variation. Jonas adjusted the infrared camera. The meadow is a perfect uniform temperature. How uniform? Down to tenths of a degree. That's impossible, Asha whispered. Even sand particles differ in heat retention. Jonas shook his head. Not here. Not today. Kivu's eyes rotated inward, focusing on his own limbs. His skin should have paled drastically under the intense sunlight. Still no shift. His chromatophores weren't malfunctioning, they were refusing. As if trying to process feedback from an environment that had no variation to interpret. He extended his tongue at a passing grasshopper. Missed. His depth perception faltered because the lighting cues were wrong, too consistent, too flat. The meadow was becoming visually unreadable. His instinct screamed, danger. Unknown. Kivu backed farther into the shade. Behind him, Asha moved toward the meadow's edge. Asha, don't. Jonas grabbed her arm. The moment her boot neared the boundary, something strange occurred. Her shadow disappeared. Not faded. Not softened. Disappeared. Asha gasped and leapt back. What was that? Kivu saw it too. The sunlight falling onto the meadow did not behave correctly. Light entered the zone. And vanished. No contrast. No shading. No definition. The meadow swallowed light. And color. And anything that relied on either. That evening, long shadows stretched across the acacias, painting the savanna in deep orange, everywhere except the meadow. The meadow remained the same pale yellow-gray. Same brightness. Same tone. Same shape. Asha and Jonas pitched camp at a safe distance. Jonas set up a LiDAR scanner. Ready? He asked. Asha nodded. Jonas activated the device. A thin pulse of light shot toward the meadow. The scanner began mapping. Then the data froze. Asha. LiDAR isn't returning depth. No reflection. No depth variation at all. It's mapping the meadow as a perfectly flat plane. But grasses have height, Asha muttered. And shrubs. And soil irregularities. Kivu, perched on a branch above them, rotated his eyes toward the field. His color receptors still detected no variance. The entire meadow looked like a single continuous surface. Like a painting. He descended a branch lower, creeping closer to Asha and Jonas. He wasn't used to associating with humans, but tonight the garden felt safer than the meadow. Jonas shook his head. This is like scanning a sheet of polished metal. But it's grass, Asha whispered. Kivu used his tongue to test humidity. Too stable. Airflow above the meadow was not circulating correctly. He stared long enough that his colors should have darkened for nighttime adaptation. They didn't. His chromatophores stayed half open, confused by the constant, unshifting optical field. The horizon above the meadow began to flatten visually. The natural curvature of the Earth's distance dissolved into a sharp line. Asha stepped back involuntarily. Is it getting sharper? Jonas whispered, it's losing depth. Kivu clenched his claws around the bark. His body trembled. The meadow wasn't just still. It was removing dimension from itself. By dawn the next day, faint wind swept the savanna. Acacia leaves trembled. Dust moved. Birds shifted branches. But the meadow? Still motionless. Wind passed over it without effect, as though skimming an invisible barrier. Kivu crawled along a fallen log, inching closer. His eyes rotated rapidly, sampling every wavelength. Still no color change. His skin remained locked in old patterns, camouflage frozen by an environment that refused input. Asha approached cautiously with a drone. Jonas, launching now. The drone hovered and then moved toward the meadow. 5 meters away, its sensors flickered. 3 meters away, its video feed flattened. 1 meter away. The drone froze midair. Not malfunctioning. Not crashing. Just stopped. Held. Asha gasped. It's suspended, what's holding it? Jonas backed up. A force field? Electromagnetic? Atmospheric density shift? Kivu narrowed his left eye. The drone cast no shadow. Light bent incorrectly around it. Then the meadow reacted. A ripple spread outward, not through the grass, but through the light above it. A distortion. A wave of dimensional collapse. Kivu hissed silently, throat pulsing. The distortion rolled outward, flattening colors, stripping texture. The edges of shrubs at the boundary turned into silhouettes with no depth. Asha stumbled back. Jonas, it's expanding. Within moments, the flattening effect pushed a meter beyond the usual boundary. Grass outside the meadow lost shading. Rocks turned into matte cutouts. Kivu's vision blurred. The world was losing contrast, losing realism. He scrambled up the tree, panting. His colors tried to shift, finally, but the signals were scrambled. Green-gray, brown-gray, yellow-gray. Everything turned gray. The meadow's unnatural field was rewriting light around it, and living creatures couldn't adapt fast enough. Then the ripple stopped abruptly. The expansion halted. The suspended drone dropped to the ground. The meadow went still again. Perfectly still. As if nothing had happened. But Kivu sensed something deeply wrong now. The meadow wasn't just absorbing color. It was consuming the world's ability to express it. The next sunset brought blood-red skies over the savanna, except the meadow, which stayed exactly the same dull tone. Kivu perched high in a thorn tree, trembling. His skin was trying desperately to shift with the changing light but kept snapping back into dull gray. Jonas recalibrated his equipment. Asha, look at the new readings. She scanned the screen. Then went pale. Jonas. The meadow is emitting radiation. Not harmful? No. Something else. A signal. She pointed to a graph. This wavelength is. It's color data. Color data? Kivu's chromatophores respond to ambient wavelengths. If the meadow is overriding them. Suddenly, Kivu's skin shifted violently. Not to match the savanna. Not to match the light. But to match the meadow. A perfect uniform dull gray overtook every scale on his body, from tail to eyes. He froze, horrified. His body was obeying the wrong instructions. His natural camouflage was gone, replaced by a forced, unnatural sameness. Asha whispered, "The meadow is dictating color." Jonas swallowed. Not just absorbing, it's broadcasting. Kivu clung to the branch. His heart pounded. His tongue felt numb. His pupils widened and narrowed unpredictably. The meadow pulsed lightly, a faint shimmer in the air, barely visible. But this time, something happened. A small patch of grass in the center shifted color. From pale gray to bright red. Then to blue. Then to black. Then to no color at all. The flicker spread through the meadow like veins of shifting hue. Kivu flinched and turned away. His own skin responded involuntarily. Gray, red, blue, black, gray again. He couldn't control it. Asha whispered, "Jonas. It's learning. It's experimenting. It's testing control." Jonas closed his eyes. "Of color?" "No," Asha said softly. "Of perception." The meadow flickered again, a wave of chromatic distortion rolling outward. Kivu scrambled down the tree. He didn't know what the meadow was becoming. But he knew it had stopped being land. It was now something else, something that could strip the world of color, then feed it back wrong. In whatever its purpose, it had only begun. Kivu climbed as high as he dared into the thorn tree, gripping the branch until his claws ached. His skin kept flickering, not because he commanded it, but because the meadow pulsed colors into the air like a silent signal. The sky outside the meadow shifted through natural sunset hues, orange, red, deep violet. But the light reaching Kivu came distorted. It arrived delayed, fractured, smeared across his retina. His right eye saw dusk. His left eye saw noon. He blinked rapidly, confused. On the ground, Asha and Jonas worked feverishly to recalibrate equipment. The spectrometer struggled to keep up with the rapid shifts, numbers blurring into meaningless fluctuations. "Asha," Jonas whispered, staring at the readout, "the meadow isn't just emitting wavelengths." Asha looked up from the laptop. "What else could it be?" Jonas pointed at the graph. "It's altering them. Rewriting them. The wavelengths aren't natural, they're synthetic." "You were saying the meadow is generating fake color?" "Not fake, just its own version." Kivu hissed softly. His chromatophore spasmed again. Blue, yellow, gray, white, black. The patterns were unnatural, inconsistent with any evolutionary logic. His body was reacting to stimuli that didn't belong to Earth's physics. Asha stepped cautiously toward the meadow's edge, holding a fabric color chart. She lifted a red swatch toward the anomalous field. Within 1 second, red beige, beige white, white nothing. The swatch turned invisible. Asha yelped and stumbled backward. "It erased the pigment," she whispered, shaking. Jonas backed away too. "Asha, we should leave. Something is overriding the visual system of anything close to that field." Suddenly a low hum vibrated through the ground. Kivu felt it first, a pulsing wave through the tree branch, like a heartbeat outside of his own. The meadow shimmered again. Not like grass. Like a sheet of taut light bending inward. It expanded a few centimeters. Then a few more. The world behind it lost shading. Colors flattened. Shadows thinned. Kivu's skin locked into a uniform neutral gray, a defensive reflex he couldn't undo. He turned his eyes toward the savanna beyond the tree. But what he saw terrified him. The flattening effect was spreading outside the meadow. A dead shrub lost its texture. A termite mound lost its shadows. A cluster of rocks lost their contrast. It was subtle at first, like a photograph poorly printed, but the effect grew steadily clearer. Asha saw it too. "Jonas. It's expanding its influence." Jonas swallowed. "This isn't a light anomaly. This is a perceptual one." The meadow pulsed again. Kivu's scales twitched. The world was slowly losing dimension. And the chameleon, master of adapting to color, realized with rising panic that soon there might be no color left to adapt to. At midnight the savanna usually cooled dramatically, winds sweeping in from the plateau. But tonight, no wind reached the meadow. The air above it remained unnaturally warm, still, and bright with a faint luminescence that didn't match the moon. Kivu watched from the thorn tree, body trembling as involuntary flashes of color rolled across him, bursts of yellow, then sudden black patches, then stark white. His skin fought the meadow's influence, but the signals flooded faster than he could resist. Below, Asha and Jonas remained awake, eyes fixed on the meadow. Jonas pointed upward. Asha, do you see that? Above the meadow, the stars flickered. Not twinkling through normal atmospheric distortion, but blinking in and out of existence, as if viewed through bad reception. Some stars turned red. Some turned blue. Some flattened into streaks of dull gray. Asha's breath caught. The field is affecting the night sky's appearance. Jonas, it's not just ground-based, it's altering the way we perceive distant light. Jonas stared, horrified. It's rewriting the rendering rules of the world. Kivu crawled farther along the branch, wanting distance from the field. His eyes scanned the horizon, and then stopped. The horizon line was gone. Completely gone. Instead of a gradual curve of earth meeting sky, there was now a sharp boundary, as if the world ended there. His throat vibrated with a low, distressed trill. Below, Asha lifted her camera and zoomed in. The camera confirmed it, the horizon wasn't blending. It was clipped. Flattened. Reduced to a single line of color. Jonas. This thing isn't just freezing light, Asha whispered. It's simplifying it. Compressing it. Removing data. Like an algorithm lowering resolution, she said. Kivu blinked slowly. Even his brain struggled to process the simplified world. Depth cues weakened. Light cues warped. His eyes, evolved for extreme precision, could no longer track motion correctly. Then something happened inside the meadow. A shape formed. At first, it looked like a distortion, a wavering shimmer in the field. But then it solidified slightly, like a two-dimensional silhouette trying to become three-dimensional but failing. Asha pointed. Jonas. Something is in there. Jonas stepped backward. It's using the meadow as a screen. The shape bent. Shifted. Collapsed into itself. Then expanded outward with a stuttering ripple that made Kivu's vision double. The meadow pulsed a new color, one that neither humans nor chameleons had ever seen. Jonas covered his eyes. Asha gasped, falling to her knees. It's not a real color. It's a mathematical one. A color that shouldn't exist. Kivu's entire body convulsed as his skin attempted to match it, and failed. His chromatophores froze completely, locking him into a blank gray. He clung to the branch, immobile, unable even to hiss. The meadow flickered again. The silhouette dissolved. The horizon flickered. The stars blinked. Then, silence. Stillness. Dark. The meadow extinguished itself. Not naturally. Not gradually. Instantly. The light collapsed inward as though someone switched off the sun itself. The fake color vanished. The distortions evaporated. The horizon returned. The stars regained their normal twinkle. Kivu gasped, his skin suddenly remembering how to shift. Greens and browns flooded back into his scales. Asha exhaled in relief. It stopped. Jonas nodded shakily. For now. Kivu looked again at the meadow. It sat perfectly still. Perfectly normal. Perfectly harmless. But his instinct screamed. It wasn't over. The meadow had tested the world. Tested its limits. Tested our limits. And next time, the rewrite might not stop at colors.